Hey, we're at my favorite place. So my brother called me about this Ford truck. It's an older one, 2001. We'll talk to him. I'll just give you real brief what I know. All new cats are on it already. And I'm not sure what else. And what we're doing on this one is a fuel trim imbalance. Only one side is running, I think he said rich. So that's where we are. 2001 Ford F-150 with a 4.2 liter V6 engine. Let's go inside. Let's pull some data and see what we got. I know my brother was in here playing around, so there's things that might be here. Okay, so we have a P1000 was just, codes were cleared. Let's go to our data display. And I am interested in my oxygen sensors and fuel trim. All right, so let's just see what this looks like on a cold start here. We'll pay attention to our oxygen sensor heater milliamps. That's these four right here on the screen. Fuel trim, long-term, short-term, both banks. O2s are all up there, perfect. Looking at trims, long-term on bank 1 is minus 14. Minus 15 now. But the short term is countering that. I see the short term, that was like, I saw a positive 11. I don't know if all the O2s were replaced too. I definitely have the 445 milliamps, the heater circuit for the 1.1, which is our main one for fuel control on this, has the lowest amperage of all four. Let's see what that 1.1 sensor looks like. It's pretty slow. I think what I'm gonna do is limit some of this. Let's see if that improved or it didn't. You look at the counter down here at the bottom. It's just gonna be slow no matter what I do, probably. Yeah, I definitely don't like the smaller heater milliamps on the 1.1 sensor. I don't know that that tells me anything, but I can see an imbalance here. We're actually a little bit positive on bank 2. You see the long term's at 9, and we're negative on bank 1. And when I've seen this in the past, I've seen a restricted cat do something similar on one side. Now, apparently all the exhaust is new. Do you ever see that that meme or video of the kid that he's like, apparently I don't watch the news. Every time I say apparently now, I hear that little kid's voice in my head.
And apparently, I've never been on live television before. I don't watch the news because I'm a kid, and apparently Grandpa just gives me the remote after we watch the Powerball.
All right, holding the RPM up, see what it does. We're gonna test drive this too. If this has a plugged cat on one side, we should be able to feel it, have some type of drivability. So min-max range of that bank 1 sensor 102 looks good. I got min 69, max of 801. And I know you guys aren't seeing that these are the two upstreams because the data PID description's hidden at the top. But you see the min and max for bank 2 sensor 1. Those look good. Like I don't see this as being an oxygen sensor problem. Even, I mean, it still could be. Like this min-max range, that looks really crappy right now. You see the full swings of the bank 2 sensor 1. Let's do this so I don't have to keep moving back and forth. You see your heater circuits down at the bottom. I am worried about the 445 milliamps on the bank 1 sensor 1. Okay, so these two on the left are my upstream O2s. And I got like twice the amperage on the heater circuit. On the bank 2 sensor 1, which is the bottom one, it's 801. I'm showing 445 on the bank 1 sensor 1. And then look at my min-max signal. It's horrible. It's horrible. This just looks like a bad oxygen sensor. It's possible it's not, but it'd be nice if I could reset this min-max without exiting. I can't. So see the min of 69, max of 801. We're not hitting those numbers right now. I want to reset that. So I have to exit. Just limiting PIDs to speed this up. Pull up the O2 so you can see the min-max ranges. Yeah, I don't like it at all. It couldn't be this easy. This looks like a bad O2 to me. Let's go for a ride. Let's see how it drives. If it's just a faulty O2, one that's lazy, or one that's just, you know, junk, just given the heater circuit too, this thing's probably gonna run just fine. So let's go for a ride. We'll look at these PIDs. So a couple things I want to do. One, I got a low fuel light on. Isn't that nice? Look, there's no fuel in this. So for you guys that take your car or something like this to a garage and it's a drivability issue and you want them to diagnose it, please leave fuel in the tank. That's annoying. All right, some decel events. Right now I'm decelerating with a manual transmission. This is much easier. This is full lean, right? Both signals and RPM got low. So if there's nothing else that you guys get out of this video, I want you to absorb testing, how to test an oxygen sensor for accuracy. And by that, I mean, can we drive it rich? Can we drive it lean? Does it go both directions fully? The best way to do that is XL enrichment, so a wide open throttle run in first gear, and then a deceleration event where your RPMs are high. If your RPMs are high and you're decelerating, the injector shut off, there's your full lean condition. So there is no need to go under the hood, add propane, make vacuum leaks. This is all stuff I have written in my book too. It's not necessary. You don't need to do it. Those methods are acceptable, but this is much more accurate, okay? I'm in second gear right now. I'm gonna do wide open, watching both O2s. Data parameters are too slow. Okay, so what I need to do for this, we're gonna limit all of them. The only thing I wanna see is my upstream oxygen sensors, nothing else. I don't care about anything else. My scanner just it just crashed on me. I just need to get out of the way while that's reloading. I mean, drivability wise, this thing feels fine. I'm not feeling a restricted exhaust. I mean, I'm not familiar with the 4.2 engine in a truck. So the gearing, the engine in a heavy truck, is this what the 4.2 feels like? I think it feels okay. It doesn't feel like we have a restricted exhaust. All right, we're gonna go second gear, because this is a manual. We'll use second gear for our wide open throttle run. You don't need to speed, you don't need to go fast. We just want a full rich condition. So we'll go wide open. We wanna watch our oxygen sensors. All right, I'm wide open right now. Okay, going uphill is better, so you're not speeding. It looks like they went full rich there, but I need to confirm that. You guys can watch the decel event right now. Full lean, both banks, 0 millivolts. So they're both reacting. That's on the lean side. First thing you want to do before you go attacking any mixture issue is making sure that your O2s function, at least within their range. All right, we're gonna do our wide open now. Pedals to the floor. I'm kind of bogging the engine a little bit. Watching that. Yeah, full rich, both banks. We peaked at 849, 861. So if you didn't get anything else from this video, that's your test right there for numerous reasons that you can do that. One of them is going to be if you're dealing with a wideband oxygen sensor where its range and how it reports on the scan tool is not something you're used to. Take it for a drive, go wide open throttle, see what your rich side is, and then decel event where your RPMs are high, injectors cut, see what your lean side is, and there's your min-max range. And you can use that even on an unfamiliar reporting wideband sensor. You can use it on an oxygen sensor like we are right here. But look at the graph though. Look at the difference between bank 1 and bank 2. This looks like a sensor problem to me. Even though it reacts over time to changes in fuel, like we saw, our XL enrichment, pretty close to being the same number, 800 millivolts plus, and then the lean side both dropped to 0, but just look at it. It looks like crap. It's moving, but not great. And the thing about it, let's pull our fuel trim back in, and why I'm suspecting this to be an oxygen sensor issue and not some type of mixture problem is our trims, our short-term adjustments, just kind of watching both. Yeah, I mean, it's been compensated for. So if you're looking at your short terms, that's the right now corrections for the oxygen sensor. It's just not a clean signal. I just think this is a bad O2. Let's take a look under the hood. I just want to see if those sensors are new. So this should be bank 2. Ford's #1 cylinder is generally on the passenger side, I'm pretty sure. Let me look at the cylinder heads here. Yeah, here's another way you can tell. I don't know if your camera can show this. You see where my hands are? Can you see that this hand, which is on the front of the valve cover, is closer to me? All right? That's #1 cylinder. So the cylinder head, when they're staggered, your #1's right here. So this is bank 1. Take a look at the oxygen sensor. That is not new. All right, I think for us, just because there's a whole bunch of different potential causes here. With an imbalance like this, we could have injector issues. We could have restricted exhaust. I think the exhaust is fine. This doesn't seem like an injector issue to me. I could be wrong. I'm misinterpreting the data. These 2 upstream oxygen sensors, to switch them is super easy to do. I think that's what we're gonna do. Look at this waveform. Look at the difference. See how nice and clean the min-max range is on this one compared to this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know we're +9 on the one bank, but I really just want to see if these flip-flop on each other. Hopefully I can get that one out on that side. We'll also be able to look and see if the heater currents have changed too. I don't like that sensor. The only downside of this method is I might kill that sensor just by trying to remove it. Kill it meaning it won't work anymore. In which case, confirms our issue. Let's go talk to Danner. I think this truck might just have a bad bank 1 oxygen sensor.
I swapped it out.
You did swap it. With what?
The used one from the other side, because the one that was up there flatlined a little bit on me.
But this one that's on that side,
Yeah.
the min-max is real crappy in comparison, and the amperage for the heater circuit's half of what all the other 3 are. So you're at 450 milliamps on the heater, and they're all 800. They should be typically about 800. I don't like that sensor that's in there.
I don't either. That's what I said. I got to start with a sensor, and then because
I just want to switch the 2. I'm going to switch the 2 upstreams and see if it follows. That's what I want to do. Instead of you buying one, just give me a socket, and if you've already had them out, then I'll be able to get it out, no problem. Right? You had that bank.
Yeah, but it's in a shitty spot.
It is, but I mean, for us and what we're doing, it would be the perfect test for me to show everyone else our suspicions to see if it moves.
Yeah, because originally what I said to him is because his original brand new one, it's an NTK too, like the OE manufacturer, NGK.
Yeah.
I have it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think it's got a bad one. He's like, I just put them in, not too long ago, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, you know what I mean? Like, they're only like $40, I'm like, I don't want to chase this if it's that, especially because it's taking fuel away and the rear O2 is telling you that.
I didn't even look at the rears.
Oh, you have to look at it.
Well,
the rear O2 is going down to like 100 millivolts whenever you're just like 2,500 RPM.
So I shouldn't be looking.
Staying there.
We need to do that before we swap them to show you guys what Danner's talking about. So -15 is the trim on that side. You're seeing very low voltage on the downstream.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's not cycling like the other side. You know what I mean?
Well, it is behind the Cat 2 and we have those variables. But
well, no, but I mean, the other side is like, cycle's the bad word, but I mean, like, it's not achieving like 600 millivolts. You know what I mean? It's like hanging down at like 0.9 to 125. And like,
so to be clear for you guys, if you have an upstream that's miscalculating, we're taking fuel away needlessly, the downstream will show lean on that side. That's what my brother's talking about. I did not show you guys that. We'll do that. We're also switching the O2. So I need an O2 socket and a ratchet. So wait, you said it had a new sensor on that side?
I'd give it to you if you want.
Nah, I want to switch these 2.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I can put this together.
So why didn't you what did you see with the new one that was on that side? The same thing? Exactly?
No, what I saw was less cycling, like you're saying, like it wouldn't hit 800 and go down to
that's what
100.
I'm seeing.
It's, you know what I mean? But for a while, it was just like hanging around like between 300 and 500, like right in there.
So we could have a heater circuit issue. It's possible. I mean, not the sensor itself, but I'm just trying to figure out why we would have two different if I swap this and my heater amperage stays low on that passenger side, then I'm going to focus on the heater circuit.
This is the one I pulled out. It's like it's 2 weeks old or something like that.
Yeah, it was an NTK. Yeah. This makes me nervous about our call now and what we're seeing. So you saw pretty much the same thing, right? I mean, if it was just a heater circuit fault though, me holding the RPMs up at 2,000 RPM for a couple minutes like we were doing should improve those fuel trim numbers, and it doesn't.
I know, and that's
so
why
then we might be dealing with an injector issue.
But wouldn't the rear that's what's confusing me.
Well, I mean, it's behind the cat, and you got, you know, the cat could be lit off, and I don't know. I mean, if we have extra fuel, it does seem to idle a little bit rough too.
I noticed that intermittently.
I might be barking up the wrong tree here with this oxygen sensor. I feel like we're barking up the wrong tree now. I don't want to start it back up to show you guys the downstream that my brother was mentioning. I don't want it to be any hotter. We went inside to let it cool off some. I'm just gonna swap these because I don't like what I was seeing. I'm a little bit concerned though because of the fact that this has already had a sensor put in it. This wasn't tightened all the way. This was a little bit loose. But that gave you a false lean, not rich. I don't like the way these threads feel. I think Danner had mentioned that too, didn't he? The nice thing is this has been removed already. This would make for a really difficult process if this wasn't already removed. The threads were definitely boogered up on this side in the exhaust manifold itself. Oh, dude, I just snapped it. It just got loose on me. Oh no, oh no. It just like took the freaking threads. That sucks. Let's see if he's got a tap. He warned me too. He said the threads were a little boogered on that side. And that O2 was not tight all the way. I don't know if you caught that when I was tightening it and it got loose.
I was on it.
Were you? Because we just complicated the hell out of this now. We still have enough though, as long as I can get an oxygen sensor in this, it's that driver's side that I'm worried about now. And if this proves to be like the wrong path, you can see why swapping parts and testing isn't always ideal. That's where we are right now. Lesson learned. But I also want to talk about the test we did on the test drive, because I said it passed, right? We were over 800 on both and we were down at 0 on both. However, response time of an oxygen sensor is why I still looked at this sensor as being a problem. Response time needs to be very, very fast. Wide open throttle for a long period of time, it has time to go full rich. Full lean deceleration event, no fuel, it has time to drop full lean. So you can still have an oxygen sensor problem even though it passes those tests. And that's why I'm here. And I just thought that this would be the easiest approach before we start looking at these fuel injectors, in particular because I don't have my pressure gauge with me today or my injector balance tester. I did bring the Pico that maybe we can see injector drops on the fuel rail. We'll see. Yeah, a little bit frustrated at the moment. I'm just glad that this is not in a really, really bad spot, because this could wreck your day. In some applications, you'd be taking the exhaust manifold off. You know, when you do stuff like this is, you know, there's pause to call the customer and see how they want to proceed. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure. Of your own money and time, no, that's not acceptable. This was a legit test that we were doing, and You know, where you would stop and you would make sure that you don't get buried in this car is once that sensor got tight, you stop right there. Call the customer. You know, for us, we don't charge for what we do, so we just proceed, you know. I mean, I should have got a tap. I made the mistake of not getting a tap right off the bat from my brother. I really need a die now. So tap and die like the other part to clean the threads up on this O2. I don't want to booger the threads up in the manifold. I'll see if my brother's got something I can use.
What's up?
You have a die that I can clean. I don't want to mess the threads up in the exhaust. Are nice and clean now. And I just want to clean these threads up on here.
Why don't you put the other one in? You don't want to put the other new one in. You want to do the one that was working.
Yes. Yes.
I just bought something stupid. It's like Christmas.
What is that?
A universal thread repair tool.
Why would you have this in an unopened box? Okay.
That's so random.
So let's figure out how to use it. This isn't gonna work for this. Threads are too short. The worst part about this might all have been for naught. And this is a good example of why Swaptronics isn't always the best approach. You look at that and you're like, those O2s were out. My brother had them out. I like the approach. I like the idea. And then something like this happens and then like just eats up your time. And then like we may have the same problem. And I just barking up the wrong tree, you know? The main thing is I wanted to make sure I could thread this in by hand, you know, and I can, so that's good. Now, will it bite and hold enough for this test? Ooh, is that enough? Ooh, I don't want to tighten it anymore. I want to try it, Caleb. I'm gonna try it. We need to change the sensor for sure. I think that's a leak point, like exhaust leak. Let's see. Come on and join me. All right, let's get our data pulled up before I start this. Look at that. It's the same bank one, sensor one showing. The heaters shouldn't be on right now. That's weird. It's weird that I have a milliamp reading and it says they're off. So let's see what it looks like running. No change on those numbers. Both upstreams just turned on. The heater circuits did. Just switched back off there for a second. So I don't like that the heater numbers never changed. It stayed at 445 milliamps on bank one, sensor one before they even turned on. Downstreams are off right now. That's typical, delayed on the downstream. So I'm not worried about what the downstreams are doing at the moment. So I'm struggling with, in my mind, in explaining the heater circuit stuff to you guys. I can do a quick scope measurement of the heaters to see what the amperage actually is. I'm not trusting this data PID right now, mainly because it gave me that 445 milliamp number before the heaters were ever even turned on, before I even started the truck. However, our problem is still on bank one, sensor one, and our negative trims are still on that side. So Swaptronics was a huge waste of time. Huge waste of time, right? We have an issue on that bank. It is not an oxygen sensor problem. I should have believed my wide open throttle enrichment, diesel fuel cut, both extremes of the O2s, should have believed that. Looks like the milliamp number's updated. Which one's this? The 2.1 is this side. The 1.1, so they did move, Caleb. So okay. Yeah, it just took time to update. It's just a different number. It's a lower milliamp number. That's the old sensor. That's the one over here that I moved from over there. The milliamp number changed, so that's suggesting the O2 itself, for sure. However, it's good enough, because this is bank 2 on this side, where I moved the old one, that my bank 2, look how nice it looks, my O2 sensor 2.1, which is my upstream on this side, nice min-max voltage, and you know, not much different in my trim values here. A little bit positive on that side. But this guy here, it stayed crappy. The bank 1 sensor 1, really crappy looking signal. The heater is no longer my concern. I'm not going to manually check them. I know for sure the heater current is off, but the heater current is low on the good side now. And the good, it looks, this bank 2 sensor 1 looks good. Bank 1 sensor 1 still looks crappy. And we have a roughness at idle. We do have an imbalance for sure, positive on this side and negative on this side. And things that can cause that, restricted exhaust. You can also have timing belt or chain that's off. I don't know enough about this engine to know which one it is. So a jump timing chain can give you imbalance in fuel trims. You can also have one side, let's say we have an injector that's leaking on the negative 14 side, and you could have a restricted injector on the other side, right? When you have injector problems, it's usually not just one. When you have misfiring, which this could be a misfire, idle only misfire, unless it's mechanical in nature, you generally will see more positive trim numbers, not negative like we see right now. So let me at least address that by a cranking test. Just doing a clear flood mode with the throttle here, cranking it over, listening to the cadence of the engine. Sounds pretty even, doesn't it? All right, let's do something else here. Yeah, there's no misfire being detected, no injector faults being detected electrically. Doesn't mean they're mechanically spraying like they should be. Let's see what else we can do here. Cylinder contribution test. Test is designed to identify cylinders with severe misfires, which we don't have, by measuring individual contributions at idle and in a PID list. Individual cylinder values with negative numbers are lower contributors. If PCM ID is not available, this test might not be supported on this vehicle. Yeah, cylinder contribution values. Oh, there's a minus 12 on cylinder 3. Let's watch this for another minute. Cylinder 3 again. That actually is helpful. So it's 1, 2, 3. So Ford numbers them 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's where the new sensor is on that side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3 is on bank 1. What I'd like to do is put a fuel pressure gauge on this and do my injector balance test. For you guys that don't know what this injector balance test is, I'll put a link to a video here for you where I'm using a timer tool and I'm firing each injector for a specific period of time, and we watch our pressure drops. The problem with that test is I don't have that tool with me. I don't have access to that tool because my son Bo, who is, by the way, going to Rosedale Technical College for industrial electrical. You guys looking to send your kids somewhere to a trade school, want them to learn a trade, Rosedale Technical College, look us up. My son is going there now. He is there at the moment, and I don't have access to that tool. It's in my truck. But I came prepared, and I did bring my Pico, and my brother has a fuel pressure adapter we could use. We could adapt the Pico pressure transducer to the fuel rail and possibly see injector balance issues. The only problem with that test is there's variables to it because the service port's on one side of the rail and the injectors nearest to the service port will have probably different looking patterns than the one on the other side of the rail. So it's not going to be ideal. I prefer my timer tool. But anyway, that's what I was thinking for imbalance. Do we pull the oxygen sensors back out and do a back pressure test? I'm saying no. I'm saying no on that one because of how the truck is running. I'm not choosing to walk that path. Not yet. I think the Pico and the pressure transducer is where we're going to go. See if we can see an imbalance with these injectors. Something else that can cause negative trims is a head gasket. Early stages of head gasket failure. It might be quick and dirty to do that because my brother has an emission analyzer and just do a quick HC reading hydrocarbon reading in the coolant overflow bottle. That would be much easier than the pico and the injector balance. The other reason I'm not doing exhaust to start with is how it sounds. Just kind of listening for a sound, and I didn't really hear that, and it ran okay on the drive. To do the back pressure tests, I mean, yeah, we could do it on the DPFE sensor. It's easy to do. You just need a vacuum pressure gauge. I'm wavering for the rest of you. If you guys are new to this channel, we film live, so you're watching a live process, and now I'm trying to think, what's the next easiest path? So you're always thinking that when you're troubleshooting. What is the next easiest path? The picoscope and a pressure transducer is not the next easiest path. And so I'm like, head gasket check, back pressure check, because this has a back pressure transducer. I can very quickly check back pressure and get that off of my list, right? Do the hydrocarbon test real quick for head gasket, get that off of my list, and then we really focus on the pico. That's what we're doing. Okay, some basics here. What I call universal testing methods. This is all chapter 1 stuff that I teach in my classes, which is back pressure testing and checking for hydrocarbons in a cooling system, those types of things. That's what we're doing right now. On this model year truck, they use what's called a DPFE sensor for the EGR valve. So it's a back pressure transducer that measures flow rate of the EGR. And if you look at the pipe, you look at the metal pipes for this, they both go into a tube, and that tube runs down that way into the exhaust down there on this side, or centered in the cylinder head. I forget where that exactly bolts up. It actually is important because this test could be affected by where we get that sample port based on the cat's location. I can't remember. We're just going to do this test. I'm not pulling O2s to get too detailed with this. I have one where I'm going to suggest a video for you guys to watch where we did have a single cat that was plugged, and you can miss it here unless it's the main cat in the back. So it's 2 cats up front and I think 1 cat in the back. Let me look. No downstream cat, only 2 upstreams. These cats are new, and this test on this model, it's only valid for the driver's side because this tube runs to passenger side. This tube for the EGR grabs its sample from this exhaust manifold. You're not going to see it from here, but that's where that tube's going. So this back pressure test I'm going to show you is only valid for this one side, not both. So let's talk about theory for a second. There's only 2 cats. There isn't 1 downstream. So this test is only going to be good for passenger side upstream cat, and then the main one where we go 2 into 1. That one's either missing or just hasn't been, wasn't part of this model. So this is only going to check the passenger side for a restriction. For the imbalance we have minus 15 on this side and positive 11, positive 9 we saw on this side, right? When you have 1 restricted cat, the theory would be that most of the airflow that's being measured by the mass airflow sensor, which is down here, it's in the air filter housing. You don't have to zoom in. It's down here. So with a restricted exhaust, it would have to be pretty severely restricted too, by the way, where it would be affecting even idle speed. The airflow, most of it is going to go on the side that's not restricted. Let's say hypothetically we have a restriction on the passenger side. Most of the airflow goes on the driver's side. However, this is meant to be a calculation of all of the cylinders. So this side ends up being too much airflow as far as the calculations go, and this side with the restricted cat, hypothetically, would be not enough airflow. The injection pulse would be based off of all of the airflow. And so this side getting too much air would be lean. So we'd have positive numbers on this side. And this side with the restricted cat, because we're not moving that air into that side, we're still injecting an injection pulse that's based off airflow here. This side would then run rich and we'd have negative numbers. So given that scenario, the only side I really care about with what we're talking about is this side. So I do want to do this back pressure test. And if you guys want, I have a lecture with my class where we go through this on an F-150 or an Explorer. We actually drilled holes in the exhaust to get actual measurements on where the restriction was. And I go through all of this with my class with a live vehicle. Is a really, really good lesson for everyone involved. I'll put a link here for you guys to watch that. All right, I do need to do this test. So I want this tube off. Crossing my fingers I don't break it. I want to stay away from the plastic if I can. I just need this one, really. Sweet. That is all I need. And for what we're talking about, for back pressure testing, I really only want or care about idle speed because we're seeing it at idle. Let me start it. With these cats being new, I didn't anticipate seeing anything at all. This is disconnected, this is connected. There's no restriction there. Now, when you do a back pressure test, you really want to raise the RPM. In our case, it doesn't matter because our issue is at idle. And the spec that I've used forever is no more than 2 PSI, which is this lower gauge number, at 3,000 RPM. You saw that was hovering around 0 the whole time. I'll put some links in here for you guys on restricted exhaust and what they look like using this same test. There's nothing wrong with that cat. I do realize we're not checking that side, but given the scenario we're talking about, with this side running rich, that'd be the side I'm looking for the cat to be restricted on if my memory serves me correct in that procedure or in that variable. I've only seen it once. All right, next, hydrocarbon test. So a couple things at this point. This will be where you're talking to your customer. Like, are you using coolant? Are you losing coolant? Are you adding coolant? Is it overheating? Those kind of things. Overflow bottle, this is a pressurized one. This is the one we're going out of. We want to be real careful that we don't suck in any coolant. I'll let you guys hear the flow of this. Take a listen. Okay, and we're gonna watch. I'm gonna put this here, cover it with my hand, and then we're gonna watch these numbers. In particular, that one right there, my CO. Are you ready? Yeah. All right. Got to be careful. It's pressurized. Covering that up. Watch your hydrocarbons. Usually about a 15-second delay.
I think it's faster than that.
No hydrocarbons. 0. Now always check my machine. Watch the CO2. Ready? I'm just breathing in it.
Here, watch the hydrocarbons.
There's your hydrocarbons. There's your bad head gasket. Head gasket, nope. So this is where we are right now. This is either going to be a mechanical issue, like a valve problem, or it's going to be an injector issue. It's one of the two. And balance test is up, so I think I want to be inside for this part because I need the stand and my laptop, my Pico, and get everything hooked up. We'll power down. I'll get everything hooked up. I'll tell you how I did it, and then we'll cross our fingers that we can see something. If I don't, we're probably going to end up then pausing here and getting my timer tool and coming back and then redoing the test with my timer tool. That's what I'm thinking. So.